Hi all, today I wanted to discuss Bad Batch Episode 2, titled Cut and Run. Just as a note, there will be spoilers, so if you haven't watched this episode yet, this is the official spoiler warning. So I guess I should start off by saying that I was wrong about discounting that Cut would be the person the Bad Batch went to see in J19. I am definitely okay with that though. After seeing the full episode, it makes sense and was a good choice for the Bad Batch. It was good to see Cut and his family again and know that at least up to that point they were doing okay. Towards the beginning of the episode, a point was made that Omega hasn't been anywhere but Kamino. This is emphasized by her taking in the fresh air after they landed, as well as touching and examining the dirt for the first time. This seems like it was done to remind everyone that she really hasn't been anywhere else, and is in stark contrast to the Bad Batch that went anywhere and everywhere they were needed. This also sets up the fact that she was stalked by the Nexu, as she didn't know she should be careful and mind her surroundings since she hasn't had to do that before. Seeing the cat-like creature was a nice callback to the Attack of Clones, by the way. However, what this shows is that she was not used to being vulnerable, as I assume she was very protected by the Kaminoans. We see Hunter and Sue rush to Omega's aid and drive off the Nexu, but that leaves Omega embarrassed about the whole encounter. It was so sweet to see Cut jump right in like a dad and comfort her. When Omega left with the Bad Batch in Episode 1, I felt like at some point one of the episodes would have them trying to have her stay with someone that would be better for her. We saw this with Grogu and The Mandalorian, and I know it happens in countless other shows. Turns out it was this episode for the Bad Batch after the encounter with the Nexu when Hunter realizes he has no idea how to take care of a kid. Honestly, I ultimately didn't figure Omega was going to go with Cut and his family, since we haven't seen much of Omega yet. Although it could have been a good twist if Omega did go with Cut, but then Cut had to track down the Bad Batch because something was going on with her, or they were having trouble protecting her, or something like that. Thankfully, Omega is still blending in well with the characters in the episode. I'm still very leery of her like I talked about in my discussion of her in the first episode. However, after seeing her in this episode, I am now a little more cautiously optimistic that she will be a character that grows and changes as we get to know her better. I did think it was important to note that Cut at one point makes a comment about how the Kaminoans essentially don't make a mistake in their cloning, so this means that the Bad Batch were created on purpose, as well as Omega. The episode goes into changes that are happening as a result of the Empire coming to fruition. One main change in this episode is the chain code, which is now required. It is not unlike many other codes that we all have, like driver's license or other identifying codes, but for a galaxy used to a certain amount of freedom, this is a shock. Not only that, but the chain codes are being administered and regulated by the clone troopers. Before Order 66, they all seemed to really work to move beyond their designations, or the codes if you will, to be individuals with unique names and personalities. Now, after Order 66, they seem to be back to just being a number, which is really sad as it seems Order 66 has taken a lot away from the clones. On a slightly different note, I love Tech's comment about having just learned about the chain codes moments ago, and despite that he should be able to forge them pretty easily. It was cocky, but entertaining nonetheless. The rest of the episode is the team working to get Cut and his family a set of chain codes so they can leave and hopefully find somewhere safe to settle. I'm not sure if you caught it, but at one point, Wrecker smacks his head on some scaffolding while helping Cut and his family. It was subtle, and I only caught it after watching the episode for a second time. It was a nice nod to the stormtrooper that hits his head on the doorway in A New Hope. The episode was a little on the slower side, but I didn't mind it, as it is giving us a chance to get to know the members of the Bad Batch better, as well as set up the changes that are taking place in the galaxy now that it is under the Emperor's rule. It also allowed the relationship between Hunter and Omega to grow some too. We don't know much about where the Bad Batch are heading next. However, I would wager that we will see an encounter with Crosshair soon, just to keep that storyline moving along. Cut also mentioned that he saw Rex the day before the Bad Batch arrived, so I'm wondering if Rex is going to show up soon as well. All in all, it was an enjoyable episode. It is also nice to see the same level of care for the characters in Star Wars in general that we have seen in series like Clone Wars happening for this series. At the end of the episode, so far I'm left looking forward to the next episode, which to me is exciting because there have been parts of Star Wars over the past couple of years where that hasn't happened for me. Alright, so here are my questions for y'all about this episode. Do you think Omega should have gone with Cut? Why or why not? Where do you think the Bad Batch is heading next? Who are you hoping to see appear in the Bad Batch series? Also, I would love to use these videos to showcase fan art. If you have any you would like for me to include in the videos, please send it over and I will do my best to include it. Well, I think that is about it for this entry, so I just wanted to say that I hope you have a great day, and may the Force be with you.